doctors. I'm Dr. Chris Rapoff of D.C. QME Continuing Education, and welcome to this week's presentation. As a qualified medical evaluator in the state of California, have you ever stopped to think just how large the workers' compensation system is in the largest state of the union? Well, today we'll review a June 2024 report produced by the Workers' Compensation Insurance Rating Bureau, also known as the WCIRB, that reveals the estimated California workers' compensation costs for 2023 based on the insured employer's experience. How are these costs and expenses trending? Are they increasing, decreasing, remaining stable? Well, let's take a look for ourselves. First, these are the following sources that I reference when producing this presentation. Feel free to copy and paste these links into your browser if you'd like to read more about this recently published 2023 WCIRB report. As an overview, just wanted to mention that the 2023 California Workers' Compensation Losses and Expense Report, produced by the WCRB, provides an analysis of workers' compensation costs in California for the year 2023. Now, this is based on the insured employer's experience and the data from the California Insurance Guarantee Association. Following are some detailed summaries of the key findings of the statistics of this report. I think you'll find them very interesting. Let's take a look at the medical benefits, and first we'll discuss the total medical costs and then the medical payments, and I will break down the medical payments specifically. But the total medical costs we find in 2023 were $4.7 billion and roughly a 6% increase from 2022. But that made up about 53% of the total lost payments for the year. Now, those payments included $1.56 billion to the injured workers, and we're going to take a look and see how that was divided up as well. So of that staggering $4.7 billion that were paid out in 2023 in the workers' compensation system, it's broken down in the medical payments as follows. First of all, the payments that were made directly to the insured workers, as I mentioned before, was $1.56 billion, or about 33%. Then second place were physician services, $1.26 billion, and that's 26.8%. Hospital, including inpatient and hospital care, totaled $0.53 billion, or just a mere 11%. Medical legal evaluations, QMEs, here we go, $0.4 billion, or 8.4%. Medical supplies and equipment were $0.27 billion at 5.6%. And the remaining were pharmaceuticals, medical liens, and various other medical services. So you can see that this is thrown out through a number of different payments by different groups here, but it is a staggering amount of $4.7 billion. Now let's compare these medical payments made in 2023 with those made in 2022. And as you see here, each category experienced an increase from 2022 to 2023. And the total ranged from $4.4 billion in 2022 to $4.7 billion in 23. The two largest categories that were experiencing the most increase were payments directly related to injured workers, and that was $1.42 billion to $1.56, and the physician services went from $1.18 billion to $1.26 billion. So there was a minimal increase here. Now we take a look at the indemnity benefits, or the payments paid out, and you can see here that they totaled $4.2 billion, making up about 47% of the total lost payments. Now the breakdown includes temporary disability, permanent partial disability, death benefits, and vocational rehabilitation benefits. Here we see that the temporary disability benefits were the largest portion, representing approximately 59% of the payments. all the way down to the lowest of vocational rehabilitation benefits, or about 1.9%, or $81.9 million. So you may be asking yourself, well, where is this money coming from for these substantial payouts that we have just seen with the indemnity benefits, for instance, in the last slide? Well, in 2023, the insurers actually earned $15.7 billion in premiums. Now, their paid losses were 8.9 billion, and their incurred losses and expenses totaled about 14.3 billion, which is about 91% of the earned premium in 2023. Now, versus they had $15 billion, which was a 98% of the earned premium in 2022. So we do see a decrease in the losses and expenses in 23 as compared to 22. Additionally, the loss adjustment income expenses were 2.5 billion, and California insurers' total expenses were 5.8 billion. With regard to the medical cost containment programs, in 2023, the total paid cost for the medical cost containment programs was $412 million. This included 113 million in medical loss and $299 million in allocated loss adjustment expenses, ALAE. Now, the allocated loss adjustment expenses, along with the unallocated loss adjustment expenses, represents an insurer's estimate of the money that it will pay out in claims and expenses. Now, the insurers did set aside reserves for these expenses to ensure that the claims aren't made fraudulently and to process the legitimate claims quickly. When you take a look at the distribution of the medical service payments by the type of provider, we do find that in the calendar year 2023, the hospital-based providers received 19.5% of the medical service payments, whereas the physical therapist received 10.8%, and right behind them, the physician specialist received 10.5% of the payments. Here we have a distribution of the physician service payments and how they were divided. And you see the evaluation and management accounted for 39.3% of the total payments. And they define evaluation and management are the services in which a physician or an other qualified healthcare professional diagnoses and treats the illness or injury. Next is physical medicine. Physical medicine represented about 27.2% of the total payments. And physical medicine basically is the branch of medicine that treats biomechanical disorders and injuries. And finally, surgery. And that constituted just 12% of the total payments of distribution physician services. So, in summary, we do see that the report shows us that there is a stable trend in the workers' compensation costs in California and an actual decrease in the total losses and expenses from calendar year 2022 to 2023, which is encouraging. However, the medical benefits continue to be a major part of the total loss payments in the workers' compensation system, to no one's surprise. We also saw that the overall expenses and the premiums highlight the complexities of managing claims and those associated with the medical costs. So I do encourage you, though, to refer to the actual report under sources in this presentation for additional, more in-depth details regarding their findings and statistics to back them up. Well, doctors, I'm Dr. Chris Rapoff, and I wanted to thank you for taking the time to join me in today's presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and I do encourage you to join us next time as we explore other interesting topics as they relate to the California workers' compensation system. Until then, thank you.